Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Akitri, how you doing, my friend? Difficult day yesterday, but when looking at Mac's chart, it looks so easy. Yeah, after the fact, it does look easy. Trouble is, in real time, obviously things are quite different. But yeah, it does. It does look easy. So what are we doing today? So we've had some news today. We've got some at 3 p.m. UK time in 30 minutes. How you doing, Speedy? And FOMC tonight. I'm hoping FOMC, there's a hint of rate cuts, which I think is quite likely because crypto is, I think there's a big bear trap in crypto, certainly on Bitcoin. So I've got some money in crypto. So I'm hoping that Bitcoin gets a pump out. We get some sort of some positive news about rate cuts in September. I think it's likely. But if we get that hint of it, then so there's kind of, if I look on this chart, there's kind of two legs down, leg and a leg. But I've got about 4 seconds before I can trade. Let's just see. This should change. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, market has opened. Did that one work for 2 points? I think it did. So leg back, leg back. This is interesting. Leg and a leg. Let's see what happens here. Leg and a leg. Are we going to push up? There's liquidity up here. I mean, it's really bullish at the moment, isn't it? Well, we've kind of got a bunch of different channels here. So there's a leg and a leg. Let's see what happens. This thing's really bullish at the moment. So is it going to push up? Leg and a leg on the main chart. Leg and a leg on that chart there. You got to be careful you don't get trapped because it kind of. Let's have a look at this. I mean that's generally pretty strong, isn't it? So if you look at this chart there, there's an overshoot which may have a steeper correction or it may come back. But then if you pull this back a bit, there's kind of a channel up there. So I'm in a little bit of two minds here. Sean, how you doing, bud? You have a larger channel and an overshoot on my chart. When you say a larger channel, are you looking at something like that, mate? Yeah. Excuse me. See, it's an overshoot on there, isn't it? Let me have a look. It's yeah, Thomas Wade's got that. So if I get rid of that for now, it's working up there. You can clearly see it working along that line. Sorry. It is an overshoot, so maybe we get a steeper correction here, or we could get a reversal. We've broken above the last 5 days there, so we're on kind of a weekly high there, I think. So I like that. I like that. It's touching there, a couple of times there, and very nice at the top. So that's an overshoot for sure. So we'll go with that one. K3, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, we got a bunch of different news today. We had some around about 3:15. Didn't seem to do a lot, I don't think. Sorry. 13.15 quarter past one-ish area around about here. Didn't really do much. We got pending home sales. It's a bit hit and miss, that, isn't it? But obviously FOMC, that's what's going to create some movement, I dare say. We'll be done and dusted by then, but I'm going to watch that out of interest. So So are we going to get a push up and retest these highs? It's pretty bullish, isn't it? But it's easy to get trapped going long. We've got to get it above that EMA really and away from that. There is a possible larger channel there. There is a failure there, but we're the wrong side of the EMA really. Yeah, see, Thomas Wade hasn't got that as an overshoot. I don't quite understand why. It fits there lovely. I don't quite understand why some he marks as an overshoot and some he doesn't, but he's clearly hasn't marked that as an overshoot. I don't quite understand why. Because it's fitting so nice there, isn't it? So 2 pushes up, so I'm keeping it in mind as an overshoot. Thing is, if it's not an overshoot, then we'd expect this a break and to push up. But if it is a overshoot, we know it can create a reversal. So what is going on here? Just trying to think where there's some liquidity that it might pick off, or where there may be a possible range. We've bounced there and we've bounced there, so that, if you like that channel, that is an overshoot. But you've got to be careful here because there may be something larger going on there. I'm not sure about that, so let's not go there just yet. It's very easy to get stuck in the wrong direction, isn't it, when it's like this? Yeah, I've just done it there. I've just taken that overshoot out. The thing is, you've only got to get a slight different bar and it can make a difference, kind of. On here, it doesn't fit so nice. It's completely different. But here, I'm guessing it's going to fit okay. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. So, some have got it as an overshoot. Thomas Wade hasn't. I have to take that as an overshoot because it fits nice there, because if I don't, it can lead me into a false sense of security. So I need to give this channel a chance to break and retest before I think about going long. It is very bullish, but that's so far. It's been strong, not so strong, and then we've had an overshoot, so we could get a bigger correction here. I really don't know. But you've got to be careful not to get trapped in the wrong direction there. We do seem to be finding some support there, so there is a possibility we could either start to range a bit, or but I need to give this chance to break and retest because of this channel. Marco's took one already. He took that one there. In fact, that's unlike Marco. I mean, it's clearly congestion. He's got a doji there, but no, he knows what he's doing. Look at all that congestion there, and he's took that one. It's unusual for Marco, that is. But he knows what he's doing. It did work. See, that one to me, it's hard to know what the hell's going on here. It could trap you and push up. So he went short there. So this is a break of this channel. So I want to give this chance to trap me short. Careful here. Thomas Waysmore put it. He's changed it now and put it as an overshoot. So we need to give this chance to trap some longs, I think. I can't just get into this because this channel is still in play at the moment, although we are getting some support there, so maybe it will go up. I need to give it a chance to trap some longs and at least make an attempt at a new low. But you have to pay some attention to that. Just thinking, are we trapping some shorts? I can't see anybody short in there at the moment. It's just clearly congested. See, that's the second entry short there, which is triggered, but it's just congested. This thing could go anywhere. Maybe we get a leg and a leg, trap some longs and it comes down. Or it could just push up. Or it may be working along something there. Let me just put this here and that there and see how that kind of no. See, there could be a leg and this may come down. I mean, it's certainly looking like it's trying to push higher. But there's just no entry, really. There is a failure here, but you can't take that in case we get a break of it. Or that ends up bearish and comes down. So it's just a little bit sit and wait here, I think. We must keep in mind that news as well. So this does look like it's making an attempt to break these highs. I can't really see any type of a leg there unless that's a leg in itself. Yeah, see, Taylor's got a bigger channel here. He's got that, which I had, but then I got rid of it. So let's put it back. No, let's get rid of it. It's getting a bit cramped on there, isn't it? Let's make a new high. We can start PA fresh. Yeah, it's just a little bit misleading, and when it's like this, it can catch you out a little bit. And I find sometimes when I first get on the charts, you got that little sort of tingling going on in your guts, that kind of nervous, excited type feeling, and it's very easy to jump without thinking, isn't it? So, I think it's good just to give a little bit of time to settle. But it's clearly bullish at the moment, and this does look like it's pushing up. But we have found support, so it could touch this line and come down. There's no real setups here anyway. It's congested and a bit unclear. This channel seems to work, and we've got a break of it. And you kind of would at least give it a chance to come down and make a new low, which it hasn't. It's pushed up. So I would say it is heading for this area, I think. But it is so easy to get caught out. Yeah, I'm surprised Marco took that. It doesn't look a very inviting trade to me. Yeah, it's a second entry short, but the main body of it is quite far from that EMA. And it is quite congested there. So I'm surprised he took that. That's not a typical Marco trade, is it? But I don't know, after the overshoot, it may be going to trap some longs. In fact, what I will say, if this is an overshoot, some people might not have it as an overshoot. So there's probably, as this comes down, there's a higher low there. So that's probably going to trap some longs. So that might be why he's took that. So there's probably going to be some longs there. So it may just be a straight trap he's gone for there. Yeah, see, we've made an attempt up, but dropped quite dramatically. So maybe this is a correction. Let's have a look. We got back to that line. That may be a 2-2. No, probably a bit adventurous, I think. Okay, so let's ditch that for now. Okay, that might be our correction. We'll see. Retained for gains. That's a new face. That's a new name. I'm doing okay. How are you? Where are you from? Retain for gains. Have I yet seen you before? I don't know. I have. You're a new face. Nice to get some new faces here. Where are you from? Where are you from? Please let it be from the UK. I'm surrounded by US guys here. Nice to have some more Europeans here. They're outnumbering us. So I like the fact that it's bounced there, so that might be our correction. My rule says I have to wait until the 2 news. The 2 news. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's 15 minutes, well, 14 minutes away. So it's pending home sales. Trouble is, I tend to be aware of the news, but I don't pay too much attention to what it did in the past. You're from Morocco. I changed my name. I was Luffy. Okay, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, I knew we had someone from Morocco somewhere. Excellent. Okay, there is a higher low there off this, but there could be a second entry short here. It's hard to know what's going on here at the moment. We have made a measured leg. So... yeah, it's hard to know what's going on here. There is a higher low there. So if you're thinking after that measured leg you've gone long, it's gone up to the EMA, then it's come back and took you out for a tick. So there is a possible failure there. But I'm just a little bit uncertain, because if you go long there, it may trigger above you and you may get stuck in a wider downtrend. So that's possible as well. So I'm not taking a long here because it may trigger you and come back down. Let's see what happens there. So leg and a leg. Oh, it's so tempting to take a short there. Glad the bar finished naff. Is it going to finish like there? Doing good. My journey is okay, bud. It's okay. I'm in an okay place at the moment. I still have my little hiccups from time to time, but I'm okay. I feel quite good. I think, you know, those initial years as a new trader, you're still going to get these little hiccups, but I think they become less and less. So I'm okay, actually. I'm in a good place at the moment. So yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. It's a strange old journey, this, as a trader, really, isn't it? You know, I understand why it has such a big failure rate, because it you know, it surprises you, I think, when you've been doing it a while, how difficult it is and how many pitfalls there are. And it's really easy to get crippled. This is interesting. So, just wonder if there's a bearish bar there. Just thinking possible fail second entry short there. Trouble is this struggling to get to hold above this? I'm going to ditch that for a minute. So we've got a channel down there with the break. We haven't made a new low. So this thing does look like it's at least making another attempt. We tried there, but dropped. There is a higher low on this one, trapping some shorts. But I'm still a little bit unsure of what's going on here, so it's probably advisable just to sit tight. We have got that news coming up. So, you know, it's still possible that we're in a range here. So, yeah, it's not making much sense at the moment. It's very easy to get yourself in a bit of trouble here. So, if you took that bar there, trigger just stopped you out. If you took that bar there, you're still in the game at the moment. 1, 2, 3. There's kind of like a triple test there. Trouble is, it's triggered you and it's coming down. Hey Sam, how you doing, bud? It's a bit sideways here. 1, 2, 3. It's kind of a triple test there, but it's congested, so you can see how it's triggered that bar there, and it's come down. I'll be amazed if it doesn't stop that out. Yeah. See, we got push up. 1, 2, 3. You could even call that a triple test, but it's triggered it and stopped it out. So, how you doing, Sam? You all right, bud? Mark it up to its normal tricks again of making you miserable. Yeah, it's giving mixed signals. Here we're going up, we're going down. I really don't know, to be honest with you. You got some payments on the way, bud. Have you been approved yet? Hopefully. We should have some coming soon. Another few weeks, I think, couple of 3 weeks. I've got 10 on the go. Strangely enough, though, when I had 20, I was trading 10 at a time. So I'm actually not making any less money because I'm still trading 10 at a time. So if you're going to trade only half your PAs, you might as well only have 10 because I actually feel better on 10, strangely enough. Maybe it's just because, you know, every time you... yeah, it was a good recovery. I think the last trade was okay, but there was one that was a bit sketchy. Put a request in tomorrow. Good on you, mate. Good on you. What I think my plan is to get to 3,000 and then take 1,000 on each. That will still give me 2,000. I think that's the plan, and that will give me $10,000. I still don't think I'm going to add to them at the moment. I want to try and get a kind of a regular payment out of them. When do you quit your job? That's a tough one, isn't it? Channel with a break, high or low. There is a higher low there. Trouble is a big bar. Yeah, I suppose you got to work out, you know, what you earn in your job. So you're an engineer, so I'm guessing you're on a reasonable wage anyway, aren't you? And then you've got to try and work out, you know, maybe over the last few months and 6 months. Yeah, it's tough on that, isn't it? The trouble is you don't know if you give your job, does that add more pressure? Because ideally, we all want a trader's life, don't we? 3 hours work a day. So yeah, it's a tough one, that. Okay, it did work, that, but it hasn't gone enough. We kind of got 2 legs back and a higher low there, but this market's trapping people. So if you took that one, you may not even get your points there. So that one up, points, so you've got 6 ticks out of that, no more. I'll be surprised if that doesn't take out of that, because it's... Let me have a look. yeah, it's... Have a look at that. It's very tempting to go long here, but one, it hasn't triggered, and two, yeah, look at this. Is it going to take that out? I'll be surprised if it doesn't. It's only gone up 6 ticks. That one I think will be safe. Do you want to give up your job, Sam, dear, if you had the chance? See, your job as engineer, it's quite a career, isn't it? What I would probably do is make yourself 12 months' wages. So what's that? What are you on? 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year, something like that? 40 grand. Make yourself 12 months' wages and leave it in the bank and then trade. You gave up yours. Yeah, I don't tend to work much now, really. My wife earns quite good money. She works, she's a manager in health and well-being stuff, so she earns pretty good, my wife does. And we get some money from a little bit from affiliates. And I was doing bits of weekends, but I was 55 last month, so I did take a chunk of my pension. I took a bit of it. So I got about sort of £50,000, a little over 50,000 out of it. After the tax took a chunk, so yeah, I would say it is nice to not have to go out in the mornings. There's nothing worse than getting up. You know, I mean, I've done various jobs. I did drive oil tankers for a while, and sometimes you start and work at 4 o'clock in the morning. I remember going in one morning, 4 o'clock, my truck, and the air in the tanks were frozen. I couldn't get the pipes on. And there's nothing worse than getting up at stupid o'clock and freezing your arse off. We said an FOMC morning. Yeah, there is a bit. Actually, yeah, there is. There's a lot of volume, isn't there? There is a lot of volume. Considering we've owned the market's only really been going sort of, you know, the sort of mainstream market's only really been going sort of 30 minutes, 25 minutes. There's a lot of volume. Yeah. I will say that I've always hated working for other people. I've always sort of found ways of making money. I did something called matched betting for a couple of years, and I did okay at that. And what that is, if anybody's not heard of it, people think it's a bit of a scam when they hear it, but it's not. What it basically is it's taking advantage of the free bets that the bookmakers give you. So you use a betting exchange like Betfair, that type of thing, and you put a bet on. So, for instance, to bet Liverpool to beat Man United, you bet for Liverpool to win, and then you bet against them for them not to win, and one bet cancels out the other. So effectively, you don't really lose anything. You lose about 25 pence in every £10. But then you get the free bet, and you subscribe to a company. It costs you about £20 a month. And they provide the software to do a match. And you typically, every free bet you get, you typically make around about 75 to 80%. And I was making sort of 6,000 or 8,000 a year at that, maybe for a couple of years. But after a while, the bookmakers start to get wise. You're only really taking the offers, and they start to restrict the offers. And that's how I kind of got into trading. There was a lot of guys at the time that were coming out of it talking about Betfair trading, so trading sports bets. And that's how I sort of really got into it. But I've always hated working for other people, because so many companies you work for, they give you all this crap about we got to, you know, do what's best for the company and all this sort of thing. You know, they sort of give you the impression your sole purpose in life is to line their pockets. Now, don't get me wrong, I've worked for some great bosses, you know, respect you and treat you fairly, but the last company I worked for, they had all these, you know, posters on the wall about equality, which was an absolute load of crap. Because all the managers got taken away at Christmas and their wives put up in a nice hotel, and the actual lads who do the work got nothing. So in what world is that equality? So I actually love giving up my job. It was great. Not having a plan B makes you more committed. Yeah, it does make you wonder whether giving up your job actually. It certainly put a bit of pressure. So I would say to you, Sam, I would probably make enough to keep you going for a year. So make yourself 40 grand, which really, once you start getting accounts up, it's not that difficult to make. If you can hold accounts, I mean, if you build up 20 accounts and you get them all to payment level and withdraw $40,000, you've basically got a year's wages there. It's not. It kind of is difficult, but it's not. The principle is straightforward. You know, get 20 accounts, get them up, withdraw 2,000 from each, and then you've got your year's wages. And then maybe, but, it's not difficult to earn that sort of money. It does take time, but yeah, I would get yourself a year's salary. But obviously it depends what job. If it's a great job with a great pension, what do you do? It's not that easy. But I would say get yourself a year's salary, stuff it in the bank, and then, make sure you've got 10 accounts on the go or something like that. But we're all getting there. Yeah, exactly. There's no rush. We're all getting there. For all of us who chat here every single day, we're on a one-way journey, in my opinion. Now, some people are there now. Some people are halfway there. Some people are just beginning. Some people may have been there for a few years. But as long as we continue to grow, mature, and your emotions get more and more intact, your skill level, which people tend to forget about, you tend to concentrate on your losses and the bits that frustrate you. But what you're forgetting is your skill level's constantly growing, and you're fine-tuning, that sort of lump of fat between your ears. And we're improving and we're growing and getting better. Every time you lose and you fail at something, you learn from it and you improve. If I think back to where I was to where I am now, there's a world of difference. I was taking second entry shorts in an uptrend because it was a second entry. I had no idea. Absolutely, yeah. I think most people give up because it is difficult. But if you've stuck here for a year or two, then as far as I'm concerned, you're a keeper. You're going to continue. And it is hard, but I think after a while, something starts to click and you think, yeah, it is hard, but I can actually feel myself growing. You can't go from earning nothing to earning $20,000 a month. Life don't work that way. You can't emotionally handle it. We do stupid things because when you start thinking about money like that, it does strange things to your brain. But it's getting your first payment and then you lose a bunch and then you get a second payment, you lose a bunch more and then you get 2 payments in a row and then your payment starts to grow and then you go for a lot of accounts like me, then you have a hiccup. But it's like climbing a mountain. Occasionally you're going to slip and scratch your knees. But we are growing. Takes 7 years to become a doctor. Yeah, I'm starting to think perhaps I should have gone to medical school and had an easier life. Yeah, it takes something like 15 years to become a surgeon, doesn't it? I would say, though, becoming a doctor is probably cheaper because you don't lose as much money. Mind you, if you do a university degree in the UK, I think it's about £10,000 at the moment, which is about $13,000. So you do that for 7 years, it soon mounts up. I could say this is more of an emotional roller coaster when you're talking about people's lives, and you're going to experience people losing their lives and maybe some young people. That's got to be an emotional kick up the arse for you as well. Some people do have a very responsible job and they don't get paid for it. Yet you'll see a footballer in the UK earning £250,000 a week. It's crazy, isn't it? I do. You see all these sportsmen and these pop stars, getting these OBEs and MBEs and all that sort of thing, but you never hear about doctors or firemen who people are literally, or soldiers. I suppose some soldiers, yeah, they do, but you never hear about. I used to admire the people during COVID. Imagine going to hospital to work when you're seeing people dying all around you, walking around with a mask. It's got to be horrendous. As a doctor or nurse, you don't think you're going to go to work and rest your life. And the cost of accommodation. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is an overshoot and there's a lower high there. How do I feel about that? It's tempting. Trouble is, you don't know whether we're going to bounce and push up. Which looks like we're doing now. It's probably a second entry long there, but that's why I left it. It's still a bit unclear, isn't it? Maybe a fairly might be a better option. See, I suppose you may have a go at that here and just risk a point or so. But that ATR is quite high today. So for me, it's just a bit risky at the moment. It is a leg and a leg. Yeah, this market is it's almost taken out every little setup here. You've survived there, but I don't think it'll last long. And with that ATR high, I don't think you'd have, well, let's have a look now. You'd have got a point at best there because you've got to push through, haven't you? It's just not worth it for a point. So that's definitely going to get, yeah, a little bit of a pump up there. So I'm guessing it took a few shorts out there. There'd about have been some people short in that because this kind of looks okay. And that's an overshoot pushing up to the top. So if you don't take that, there's going to be some shorts there. And we had that little pop up there, which probably took a few out. I'm just not liking the picture at the moment. And we've got the, we've had the news. We had the news. It just goes to show the concentration level like today. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, if you've traded for a while and it has cost you money, just keep it in mind. What you're really doing is paying for an education. So that might be a break with two pushes up to a new high. So I'll be surprised if there wasn't some shorts there. But there is. In fact, do you know what? I'm not even a fan of that. This is more of a bit of sideways with a failed breakout, I think. Yeah, see, push up, a little bit of side was new high, second entry short. Did that work? I bet there'll have been some shorts taking that. I don't think it's done much, has it? Yeah, may have got 0.75, 6 ticks, and then it came back, stopped you up and pushed down the bottom. So that, strangely, I don't think it's a bad trade, but we are slightly bullish, so that's why it probably didn't come back much and then pushed up to stop it out. We do seem to be slightly bullish, so that could be a correction. It was a measured leg, and this does seem like we're continuing on at the moment. I'm going to leave that there for a minute. Channel break, two pushes up to a new high, bearish bar right at the top there. It's quite a small bar. Well, it's not bearish now. That'd be interesting to see what that does. That to me is likely to get stopped out. It's tempted to take that. Right at the, well, no, doesn't trigger anyway. See, there is a second entry long there. But the bars are doji. It looked better on there, actually. Trouble is, we've come off from here, so you don't know. Actually, I don't know. That was a bad trade, actually. It is a second entry long. You're definitely trapping some shorts there. Can't match trading for lifestyle. No, you certainly can't, mate. So, yeah, I didn't notice that, really. I was more thinking about trapping shorts here, but there is a second entry long after that channel. So that was a nice trade, I think. The bar wasn't fantastic there, but it wasn't terrible. But that bar was okay. Clearly two little legs down, bullish bar. You're definitely trapping some shorts there. No, there's no argument there. When we pushed above there, we had a little pop of a point or so. So let's have a look here. So, correction, and up again. We've got to get down here, though, really, haven't we? So let's get rid of that. I must pay attention to these other charts. Trouble is, if that channel's wrong, okay, nothing I can do here, really. It is working on the line, but that could come down and stop that out. In fact, I'd be amazed if it doesn't. That, to me, is a week long, and that's for sure going to stop it out. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's tick off it. Have a look at this. Maybe something larger there. I just don't like all that. Two legs back. It is working up slowly. I can't even remember where all-time highs are now. Another 100 odd points at me, I think, so we're still away. Market has any response? Going for president. I really don't know, mate, to be fair. I'm not... I really don't know. I don't tend to follow... obviously, US politics is a bit different to me, isn't it? But I don't know, really. Is she slight favourite? Is she? I'm kind of open. Well, I mean, obviously, it doesn't affect me as much as you US guys, but from a Trump point of view, I'm just thinking about crypto. I know he's pro-crypto. I watched when they had the Bitcoin... sorry. They had the Bitcoin... he talked at the Bitcoin convention, didn't he? So from a Bitcoin point of view, from a cryptocurrency, he's very much pro crypto. But I did see a poll yesterday. Isn't she in the polls? Isn't she 55%? He's 45%. I don't really know too much about it. But I really don't know. I mean, this is a positive move, isn't it? What is crypto doing at the moment? we've actually created a big bear trap. You know, I'll tell you something. When I'm looking at some of these crypto influencers, when you're a price action trader, you really do understand what's going on. Where's Bitcoin? It's floating around the $66,000 at the moment. We did get up to, I think we nicked 70, and then we had a bit of a drop. Let me have a look. But I have got some doing okay. Yeah, we're just under $66,500, but there's just a little hint of green there. I mean, Solana's, I can't believe I had about 50, 60 Solana when they were about 16, 18. I think I bought them for $12 and sold them for 18. God, I wish that I'd kept hold of them. But I have got about £1,500 worth. It's not a huge amount, but it could potentially turn in. But I've got no Solana. I just can't buy it at this price. Not when I know it was down to $8. But I know Trump, Bitcoin would do well with Trump. But obviously, I'm just thinking of more of a financial point of view to me. I mean, obviously, you know, we've got to have that relationship with them. See, it's a tough one with Trump, isn't it? He's definitely not your usual presidential type, but people do say he was good for the country. So, you know, what's kind of more important? You sold some XRP. In fact, I nearly bought some XRP a couple of days ago. It's been up a bit lately. It was up 8% this morning, XRP. Trouble is, it's got quite a high market cap, isn't it? So I tend to think that the bigger the market cap, the closer to the top, the less distance it can grow. So I've kind of got a mixture. The market cap's about 36 billion. So mind you, it could get up 12 times. That would take it up to ETH. But I've got some Doge. I've got some Cardano. I've got some Avalanche. I've got a little bit of Shiv. I got some SHIB. I got some Polkadot. I got some Matic. I got some Render. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Render. I did have some CRO, but I actually locked. I had some Crow, I think a couple of 3 years ago, and I locked it up. And I locked it up at about 11 cents. I put £300 in at the time. I locked it up to 11 cents. And it went up to about $1, and I was locked in for 6 months. And by the time I got out, I didn't make anything. So I think if you're going to lock something, you're going to do it right. I think now would probably be a good time to lock something. But I had like a ruby steel card. It's like a metal card, great for getting ice off your windscreen. And I think I got 2% cash back in the way of CRO at the time. And I even put my mortgage on it. I was paying my council tax, my mortgage, my bills, and I was making about £45 worth of extra Crow per month. Okay, so Thomas Way's just put his on, so he's got the same channel as me, so that gives me some comfort. But I got slaughtered. Well, I say slaughtered. That's probably a strong word, but I probably lost, I don't know, 1,000, maybe a little bit more when I sort of first come into crypto, because I didn't know anything about it. I just, you know, heard all the hype from a lot of the influencers, and I jumped on board picking the most, you know, way outrageous meme coins there were. I ended up I made a bit of money off SHIB. I bought SHIB and that went up I sold it about 3 times and that went up about 8 times, 9 times, but I knew nothing about it. But, you know, if I was a young lad now thinking about a pension, I would just put it all into Bitcoin. Just keep buying Bitcoin. You know, listening to people like Michael Saylor and people like Kathy Wood, you know, people who know the business. I'd say, you know, if you're a young lad, 18, 20-year-old, stick yourself $100 a month into Bitcoin and just keep popping it in every month. And I think you'll have a great pension and quite likely a great life. But XRP had that court thing, didn't they? I don't even know. Is it resolved? I heard it was, but it hasn't really done anything. It went up a little bit, but it does seem to be moving lately. I think this morning it was up 8%. Trouble is, I used to make the mistake of whenever I saw it green, I'd jump in, and then I would have a red day. So if I ever buy now, I always wait till we have an 8 or 10% drop, at least that way. You've at least secured yourself a much better position. But crypto's definitely the way to go, but you need to know what you're doing. Or need to know people who know what they're doing. But I had about, I think I must have had about 60 Solana at one point. It's about $185 each now. Trouble is, you never quite know what's going to happen. Crying a few years. What do you do for a living? Aren't you? You're an airline pilot, aren't you? Pretty sure you are. I'm pretty sure you are. I think we had this conversation, didn't we, a year or so ago? So you've got to be earning reasonably okay, haven't you? Considering you sit down all day long. I know there's a little bit more to it than that. I did have some flying lessons about 10 years ago. Trouble is, when you're flying around the Welsh mountains, you're constantly bouncing all over the place. Your partner, 737, yeah, excellent. I mean, that's a big responsibility in itself, but great for travelling. And I suppose you get a reasonable discount to travel as well when you're on your holidays. I do like aircraft. I always spent time around aircraft. I used to go to a lot of the air shows, the old Second World War air shows and all that sort of stuff. I used to go to a place, you probably heard of it, Biggin Hill. It's in South London. It was sort of big Air Force base, sort of during the war. I used to go there and see some of the old aircraft. And I used to camp in a field at the end of the runway. And I remember once sat there having breakfast on a beautiful sunny morning and seeing a Spitfire and a Lancaster flying right over my head. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Fact, I was on an aircraft about 15, 16 years ago. A small aircraft, I think it was about a 35-seater. My dad went up in Spitfire. I did it really beautiful. That must have been amazing. I was flying from the Masai Mara in Kenya to Mombasa, and we were flying past Kilimanjaro, and we hit the biggest storm I've ever seen in my life. I got to say, I thought my time was up. The clouds went black, and we hit hail. You wouldn't think you'd be able to get hail in Mombasa, but the plane got absolutely battered with weather. Everything went black. We were shaking all over the place. Me and my wife were sat opposite the aisle, holding hand in hand, telling each other we loved it. We only just got married. We just got married. It was our honeymoon. I've got to say, it's the most scared I've ever been in my life. And then all of a sudden, we hit the coastline. Everything went. It was such a weird experience, thinking that this is quite likely going to be the end of my life. I've only ever been there once, but what the hell do we do here? Looking for maybe a second entry long. I'm not a fan of that bar. But yeah, I know some Spitfires have two-seater. I think they're like a trainer, but yeah, I've always been interested in aircraft. We were over in Northern Ireland in the sort of, I was a sort of a teenager in the sort of mid-late 80s. And we live right next to a helicopter pad, and that's all we had, helicopters going up morning, noon and night. It was a bloody nightmare. Great at the start, exciting to watch them, but when they're up 10 or 20 times a day, you soon get fed up of it. fact, there is a pilot that I watch now and again. I forget his name. Something Monitor, something like that. He talks about accidents that happened in the past and breaks them all down. Gingerhead guy, I think. Really interesting to listen to. Okay, this is interesting. We've got a small break here. Now, I'm not really interested at the moment because we could have a leg and a leg. So that bar there, it may hold. It's quite bullish. It may hold, but that bar is a little bit risky, I think. How you doing, buddy? I think you are talking about... yes, I am. Yeah. I like watching him. I mean, I suppose we tend to... Me and my wife both watch that program on Discovery where they look into accidents. It's a bit morbid, I suppose, but I suppose it just holds your interest. But he's interesting, actually. I really like him. He talks about accidents and you know, breaks them all down. He's very good at it. But yeah, how are you doing, bud? Anyway, you sounds like you're sat quietly in the background there. So glad I left that alone because that would have stopped you out. We got a small break here. Usually I like to give it. I don't take this first break. I like to give it 2 legs. Okay, so a leg and a leg. This is very tempting. Or do I wait for the high or low? Just trying to think if there's a break there. I don't think there is. Everything fits there kind of nice to me. The tops fit. Can't see an overshoot. Very tempting to take that, isn't it? We've had a leg and a leg, haven't we? I always tend to wait for the overshoot. Sometimes we just don't get it. It rockets up. But this market's just a little bit shifty at the moment. I hope that bar finishes naff. Trouble is, there is a possibility if this chart isn't right, that there's a channel. So I'm waiting for the higher low. So there is definitely 2 legs back, no argument. Yeah, it is working. I don't know, I just don't trust this price at the moment. Market is untrustworthy. Yeah, Thomas Wade's left it, which is surprising. I thought he'd take it. Taylor's left it as well, waiting for the higher low. It did work for 2. Pretty sure you got 2 points out of that, or near as. If you went there, and not quite, actually, not quite. You'd have got 6 ticks out of that. I'll be surprised if it doesn't push up a bit. We need a higher low, though. So it looked okay. In fact, it more or less identical there. You took it. Yeah, I don't think it was a bad trade, mate. I don't think it was bad at all. It's clearly 2 legs down. I've got trust issues at the moment. I have this market has got a way of really just giving you an offer and then slapping you on the wrist as soon as you reach out to grab it. I was a bit concerned if we might have had an overshoot. Well, that's what I was looking at. I can't see that we have. We've only really touched the top of it twice. And the bottoms fit really nice. It's clearly working. So, you know, I think it's okay. And it's probably going to work. It would be nice to trap some shorts there, though. Let me have a look. Yeah, a couple of people have taken it on Thomas's. Thomas Wade's left it. He's waiting for the higher low, which typically we're not going to get, probably. But this market is really bullish. There's no argument there. There's a leg up. I think it's fair. We're going to get another leg up. It needs to be a good higher low, though, right down here, really. Not touch that. That Stop needs to say sacred. I think it will. I'm guessing you're in and out now anyway, aren't you? Usually waits for the break. Yeah. I mean, as far as 2 legs, you can't argue with it. But I don't know. Sometimes I always find sometimes it's safer to wait for the higher low. Let's see what happens here. Let's get an order ready.
Submitted.
If this finishes bullish, then I'll take that. I don't think you can argue with it, really. Let me have a look. As long as it's a solid bar, hopefully it's quite small as well.
Order submitted.
I think it's got to be done, hasn't it? Yeah, Marco's in it as well.
Order filled.
Beautiful. Okay, I think that was an absolute cracking trade. I think that was an absolute beauty. I take it you took it. Yeah, that was a. It's not often you get a really nice trade. 2 beautiful legs down, clear higher low, 1 tick off its high. You got to take that all day long, haven't you? That was an absolute beauty. Yeah, no arguments there. That was as good as you get. That is. In fact, I'll go as far as to say we rarely get that. No argument there. No argument. It's a shame, really, we don't get them more often because we don't, in all fairness. I don't think we get trades as obvious as that. A really nice fitting trade. Really nice fitting channel. 2 legs down with a higher low push below the EMA. It was good all day long, that. And it's that bullish. I think it'll probably do a lot more. But yeah, I agree. A+, absolutely. Yeah. That's a 9 3/4 out of 10. That if that it would have been touching the top, that would have been a 10 out of 10. I agree. If you take, I mean, I made $200 on that. If you take 5 a month, good trades like that's $1,000 a month. If you've got 20 accounts, you're making $20,000 a month. Trouble is, we take 8 out of 10s and 7 out of 10s, and sometimes you get confused. But that was crystal clear, wasn't it? Nice channel up, 2 legs back, and a higher low. You rarely get trades like that, I think. Now, it might be a slight over-exaggeration, but I'm working on skipping those. Yeah. Do you know what? I think as you improve with time, you automatically do. You get stricter and stricter, and you get better at reading the charts. Matt could obviously read the chart way better than us. You know, the times we get trapped, Mac will probably have spotted those a mile away. There is a couple of people who've got runners of 7.5 points straight away, but that's the type of trade you can hold on to. But at the moment, while I'm building my accounts, I just want the 2 points. But if I had 7,000 or 8,000 in my account there, I might as well hold on. It's quite a small risk. I'm glad it pushed up and then came back, otherwise it may not have got me. But that is a 2 1/4 point risk. Well, considering the ATR's that's about as small a bar as you get at the moment. So I think risking $225 to potentially get 5 times that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And it's so bullish. So if you'd have got up, if you'd have pushed up each one there, you'd have got taken out on 6 3/4 points, and that's 3 times what you would normally make. That's the equivalent of 3 trades there. So an absolute beauty that was. If you could get 2 or 3 of them a day, we'd all be bloody wealthy. So high or low after a second entry long. So high or low. High or low. Plus 2 points. Yeah, I think everyone took that, to be honest with you. Did anybody not take it? We had a good bar on all the charts there. Although it was a doji, it finished as high as you can get, came right down to its low, pushed up as high as it can get. 2 nice legs down. That was a nice bar there. That was doable as well. 2 clear legs down. But I think all, you going for more than 2 points per trade. No, just 2 points, mate. Just 2 points. At some point in the future, when my sort of chart trading skills improve and my bank balance or account balance is nice and high, then I will go for a bit more on the circumstances. If we're in a really strong bullish market like this, then yeah, I mean, look how bullish that day is so far. Do you know what? When I used to see this, when I first started to learn to trade, all I was doing is taking shorts because I thought there's no way it can go up any further. And then you come back later on and it's up here. Just when you think these markets can't go any higher, they just keep going. Old friend, after a long time from London. How you doing? How about that? Just hit 26.11 on the PA Apex 2 days ago. Good on you, mate. First time, what will happen next? Will I be contacted or have I approach them? When you say 26.11, how many days trading have you done, bud? I'm assuming when you say 2611, and that's you're talking about $2,611, yeah? How many days have you traded? $58 days. Okay. Yeah, you just go on to the Apex website, and yeah, go on to the Apex. I'll tell you what, I admire you for taking 58 days. It's great. So many people would have blown it in that time. I guess you've had the rocky time, but just to say you've held on for 58 days to hit that level, that's solid, mate, that is. So good on you. Yeah, go on to and just go into request payout, and it'll give you like a little box. If you tick the box or select the button, you'll have a drop down menu and it'll show you the accounts that have reached the target, and just select them, and then just go for a payment there. Good for you, mate. Good for you. I love hearing stories about that. I wonder if there's a bigger channel there. Good for you. 2 points is $100, but I see you. Am I counting wrong? 2 points. Oh, I'm trading 2 contracts, mate. I'm trading 2 contracts. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. Good on you. $100 for 2 points per contract. I'm trading 2 contracts. So, 192 after 2 contracts. It's just under $4. I think it's 39 cents per contract. Yeah, 39 cents per contract. So you take around about $8 off. So, but that's the thing is, if you can do that, that on my accounts has made me $1,920. So $80 under $2,000. If you can do that 2 or 3 times a week over a month, you can make a ton of money. There is 2 legs back there, but that's just way too far from that EMA, so there's nothing I can do there, unfortunately. And you don't want to spoil a nice winning trade by taking something like that. Not that it won't work. 52,616. Yeah, just put an order in. You can do it. What part of the month? We're in the 31st, aren't we? So you can't do it until... Oh, tomorrow you can. So tomorrow you could put in a payment. But I would say, as you're doing it on the 1st, I probably wouldn't trade that account. It's up to you, but if you put a payment in, it may take 5 days or maybe a couple more to approve it. And what you don't want to do is slip down into negative, so they'll refuse the payment. So I would say trade a different account or leave that one or whatever you're doing. But yeah, you can request a payout between the 1st and the 5th, and you'll get paid on the 15th. So good for you, mate. Good for you. Right, is there something larger here? So really, if you can get 1 trade for $200 in a day, you're done. You really are. Yeah, I'm just looking through some of the comments there. Picture perfect trade. Yeah, I put that's as good as it looks. Textbook. Beautiful setup there. Lovely setup there. Hurts to not get filled. Oh, you're kidding me. Taylor didn't get filled. I bet it hurts. Oh, that's a shame. I'm surprised, actually, because I dropped it and it did come back, but I did move it up a tick, which I didn't mind because the setup was that good. Yeah, picture perfect trade. Yeah, it was about as good as you get there. Yeah, they are very reliable there. Yeah, agreed. So I'm just looking at a wider channel there, and Thomas has got it from there. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure I tried that earlier, but got rid of it. It's hard to say, isn't it, really? I don't think it's going to help you. We know it's going up. Trouble is, if you've got that as a channel, what I found sometimes when you do this, you'd be inclined to wait till it gets down here to take it off the channel. So I don't think we really need it at the moment. So yeah, there was 2 legs back, but that one was just risky. I don't know how many points you'd have got off that one. If you want to tick above it, ooh, you'd have got a point and a quarter, I think, depending where you got it. But that's risky as hell taking that. It's almost definitely going to pick off that level there, about 10 points. The biggest daily candle of the year. Are we really? How you doing, Jay? I can't. It's been that long ago. I can't even remember where the where all-time highs is. Rodian, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, 2 legs back, high, low. So that's played out. So this may be coming down. There's probably a lower high there, but I'm just staying out of this because that could sting you. How you doing, mate? Yeah, last thing you want to do is take an absolute beauty like that and ruin it by taking something stupid here. Keep it in mind today that 80% off finishes. In fact, I did take an evaluation myself earlier. I just took a $250 one just for the fun of it and blew it. I'm not doing any more. Tough week. I lost a PA. That was $200 away from. It's more painful. I tell you what, mate. I've lost. How far was away? I think I was $45 away. Now I took a trade in the daytime and got to $45 off. And it was the last day to. Well, the following day was the last day where you could apply for a payment. So I came back later in the night, reduced it to 1 contract because I thought $100 would be enough. I lost the trade, and you know what happens then. It all went to shit, and I blew it. There's nothing more painful than that. It hurts like hell. It makes you angry. I think, really, if you're trading with money in mind, it does strange things to you. You really have to get to that stage where you just think about the process, forget about the money. It's hard not to think about the money. And when I say don't think about it, I mean don't think I have to get this trade to get this. You know, obviously you're going to be dreaming about how much money you're going to be earning in time. That's perfectly normal. But, you know, I traded thinking, oh, I really want this payment. I need the money. And I didn't. I just wanted it. And I ended up blowing it. There's nothing worse than spending all that time. Maybe something larger there. I'm not sure. There is a failure there, but this market's so bullish. If there is something wider, this may trigger and push up. So I'm just going to have a look, just to see if there's anything that. See if there is something wider there, then this could push up after that. So I'm just sitting tight. I'm not sure at the moment. There's be some traps there for sure. He missed that one, Taylor, but he took that one anyway, so at least he got something out of it. This is just a bit dangerous. This is a sort of a risky area to trade. That bar there, if you took that failure, trigger just stopped you out. There could be something larger here, so this could be continuing up, but until I know what it is, I just can't get in there. So, see if it takes that out. Mind you, I got 2 points out of that one. So if you did take that and you waited, I mean, it did go up 9.5 points. But I think even if you push it up, when you get that next bar, the one up from there, and you move to there, and you move to there, you got 6.75 points. It's worth doing, isn't it? And when it is really strong, riskier. There is a second entry short there, but it's clearly sideways. Is that going to take that and that out? Quite possibly, because we've got a leg down. I think we may get another leg down, so it'll break below there and there. So there's a point at the moment, depending on where you go from. To break that. I'll be surprised if it doesn't, but this could trigger and push up because there's going to be liquidity there. The market overall at the moment is bullish. So it's taken out that one and now that one. So it would have worked for a point. That's all I'd have taken it for anyway. Leg down, sideways, leg down. I think for me, if that was bearish, it was always going to take out those two because they're quite weak positions, really. I'm so pissed off at myself for being impatient. I tell you what, mate, you're fighting against human instincts, and it's near damn impossible. But those human instincts do improve. Yeah, I tell you what, I had absolutely no control over my emotions. The amount of accounts, you almost go into. It really feels like someone else has possessed your body. I don't know how many times it happened to me. Again, at tens of hundreds of times. You get an emotions take over, and it's almost like you're possessed. And you start the session with all the intentions of, if I take a loss, I'm walking away. But you just can't do it. It's almost damn impossible. But with time, when you start to get used to it and you do it every day, you can't have those same emotions affecting you the same way every day because you're doing it all the time. You know, I've used the analogy before. Have you ever jumped out of a plane? First time I did it, I was sat in the doorway thinking, what have I got myself in for? And how can I get myself out of it? And the guy was saying we may have to go down because it was cloudy. And I was thinking, oh, please let it be cloudy. But I did it in the end and did a bunch more after. But the first time I did it is such a weird experience. You kind of don't know what to say after. It's exciting but weird. But, you know, I started doing a little bit more then. And every time you do it, it does get easier and easier. And, you know, there's guys who've been doing it for years. So when you do something that you know, you get an emotional reaction to, you can't keep doing that same thing every day and still have that same reaction. It's impossible. So with time, it will go and you'll start. Well, that's why people don't last, because they give up too soon. Because as I've said before, if you start losing weight, you know, within a week or two, you start to notice a difference. But what goes on in your head, you just don't. So you just have to appreciate the fact that it does take time, and with time, you will start change, and you do notice the change, but not for a while. But it is frustrating. But one of the biggest things that I had to learn was to forgive myself, because there's nothing worse than torturing yourself. It really doesn't do you any good. You have to, you know, appreciate the fact that you're a human being and you're making a human emotion. Human beings are run by emotions. Always have, always will. It's very hard to change that, but it can be done. You know, you just need to expose yourself enough times for those emotions to start to become normal every day. You know, I'm pretty sure young squaddies who go over to places like Afghanistan for the first time, they might not admit it, but they're probably shitting themselves, and rightly so. But the more time you do it, it starts to get easier. I'm just talking from people I've spoke to. But anything, you know, I'm not saying it's the same level of emotions. And when your life's on the line, I mean, it's a different ball game. But emotions are emotions. Obviously, there's different levels of them depending on what exactly you've got to risk. I'm pretty sure if I'm losing $140 PA account, it's going to be a lot less scary than if I'm walking on a patrol where I could step on a bloody landmine. So there's obviously different levels, but like anything in life, the more we do it and get used to it, the not necessarily easier it becomes, but the more you get used to it. Okay, so this is played out. 2 legs back, high or low, pushed up nice and strong. We've had a little break there and 2 more attempts, and we've made another high there. So that's clearly played out. This to me now is starting to work down. Now whether we're picking up on a possible, I think Thomas Wade had that in mind, and at the moment we're very close to it. So touch there on a wick, touch there. It's certainly useful to be aware of this. I wouldn't be thinking about jumping straight into a long there, but it's useful to be aware that could be the bottom of the channel. Hey Chris, how you doing, mate? I'm okay, mate. How are you? Take a short part by GAT, Garden Angel Trader. Absolutely agree. I've got it at the moment, and I absolutely love it. I feel like I like it's aptly named because you do feel like you've got a good on you, mate. You do feel like you've got a little guardian angel on your shoulder. I have mine set that I can only make changes from 12 midday to 2 o'clock. So from the rest of the day, I can't touch it or make any changes. It won't allow me to take any more than 2 contracts. If I lose 2 trades, in a row, it will automatically block me from taking any setups. If I hit $500 or have 2 losses, whichever I hit first, it will close me down, and I can't do anything for the rest of the day. I can't even delete the software. There's things in motion there. You can even get it to lock your stop. So if I say I take this bearish bar here, if I set, say, a 4-point stop, I can bring my stop down towards price, but I can't move it back. So if I put my stop there and let it go, it won't allow me to touch it. I can bring it forward and secure profit, but I can't push it away. And it's got lock settings, so you can set a time where you can't lock it. So I have mine set between 12 midday and 2 o'clock. So I figure if anything's gone wrong the previous day, I've got the night to get over it and most of the most of the first half of the day. So it's a great bit of software. I absolutely recommend it. I wish I'd have bought it a long time ago. And what it also does is it gets you out that habit. It forces you to break those habits. You have to just live with it. So it's a fantastic bit of software. I'm really surprised not more people have taken it on board. But as far as I'm aware, it's only available on NinjaTrader currently. So if you've not got the NinjaTrader platform, you can't get it. But I'm pretty sure they will be working on being able to apply it to different bits of different trading platforms, because it's a great bit of stuff. I honestly thought Apex had shit the bed when they found out it was out there, but they haven't mentioned it. Since you bought GAT, I've been setting max loss in Rhythmic. Once I get a payout, I'll purchase GAT. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. The thing is, I used to set max loss in Rhythmic, and when I hit a back max loss, I used to go into Rhythmic and just deselect it. So it's not really a deterrent per se. Whereas God and Angel Trader, you can't do it. It physically won't let you. You can once you've gone through all your settings, you can't go into it. So if I bring mine up now, it'll give me this. Now I'm telling you now, I can't make any settings, so I can see my accounts, but if I select one, it won't let me set it. It's locked from 2 o'clock today to midnight. There's 2 sections where you can lock it, and then I've selected it from midnight to 12 o'clock midday. So I've got between 12 midday and 2 o'clock. I can't touch anything. If I lose trades, it won't let me take. If I hit $500, it won't let me trade. If I revenge traded and double click the button to go for contracts, it won't let me. I paid £294 for it. It's 349 euros, which I believe is around about $399. But that's the equivalent. It's brilliant, mate. It's brilliant. It's really good. But it stops you. I can't even delete the software because you can select a button which stops you from deleting it from NinjaScript. So you physically can't do anything. You set parameters. If you have 1 loss, you can set it so it won't let you in. 2 loss. There's loads of settings in it. But you lose 3 PA accounts, you've saved your money, and this thing can potentially last you for years. So for some reason, if something happened and you left a trade open, or something went wrong, you've got protection. No way you can blow it. No, absolutely, mate. As long as you set it so when you go into it, I can't open it at the moment, it won't let me, but it'll have a window like this and it'll show you all settings. So you can set your maximum daily loss. You can. What I have is after a loss, I have it so I can't trade for 10 minutes. So if I take a loss now, it would grey these out. And when I right click, it won't give me any of these options, which is like a breather you can set as much as you like. So 10 or 15 minutes after a loss, it won't let you trade whatever you set. So it gives you that little bit of time just to get used to it, to chill out a little bit, because none of us like taking losing a trade. There's so many settings with it, and it's improving all the time. But it's a small price to pay. You lose 3 PA accounts, you've got your money back straight away, and it's tax deductible as well. It's a tool which you need. So once you start paying tax, you can use that to set aside your tax. Yeah. So yeah, it's an absolute. It's a kind of little miracle worker, really. But I went to buy it about 4 months ago, and when I decided to buy it, I kind of relaxed. And I took a loss and managed to walk away at the end of the day. And I did it again and again, and it's almost like it disappeared and it just never came back. So me just, accepting the fact that there is something out there kind of stopped me. But then we sort of had a big family argument with somebody, and I was in a real bad mood on Friday, really bad mood, and I was just itching to snap at something, and unfortunately, I blew 10 of my accounts, which actually I'm not that bothered about, in all fairness. One, you do toughen up. It doesn't hurt you for as long. And two, at the 20 accounts, I was only really trading 10 at a time. And I'm doing that the same now, so I'm not financially any worse off. So, you know, but great bit of software. I did do a little, in fact, I did a little video. Now, bearing in mind it's an inexperienced me, but just if you want a quick watch it, let me just find it. There it is there.
Having a good weekend.
So I'll block the sound a bit. I'll just bring this in. So this is the little video I made. But there you go there. Those are all the settings you can have. So you select the account. So you can have allowed trading time. So I allow myself to trade between 2:30 and 6 p.m. You've got daily loss, daily profit. You can set all these, even ATF, Apex Trader Funding rules. So you can set it that it won't allow you to buy into a loss. So what do they call it? Dollar cost average, and you can't do that. And then it's got lock settings. So you can set a time where you can adjust it and then lock it for the rest of the day. It's got losing timeouts, losing trades, position size. So I have my position size set to 2. It's a great bit of software, and I think, where's the settings at the end? Copy trade, so I can copy it to the rest of my accounts. Hide remote Ninja script assembly, so it stops you from deleting the software if you go on proper tilt. Stop losses, lock them, so once you put them in place, you can't move them away. So it's really, really useful. So there's a little video there just to give you a quick sort of, how long is it, whatever it is, just a quick sort of 15-minute brief to see what it is. But definitely worthwhile. Yeah, I'm really surprised there's not more videos out there on how to use it, and people putting video, which is why I did one. Now, it's not an in-depth, but, you know, it's high low off there. But it's, I think if you're struggling a little bit, it's a must, because it'll force you out of those bad habits. I mean, you could literally set it so if you hit a certain amount of loss, it automatically closes your trade for you. And you can get it to, if you have one loss, you can't trade. So you can literally get it to, because we all make great decisions in the cold light of day. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. We all make good decisions, don't we, in the cold light of day? If you've ever lost any weight, when you sat there with a big cheeseburger in front of you and a mountain of fries, it's easy to say, I'll start my diet tomorrow. It's easy. You can stake your life on it, but come tomorrow afternoon when those you start to get that that sort of rush for food, it's a different ball game. So that's what you do. You set things before you stream, and then you lock it for the rest of the day until maybe midday the following day. So you can't physically, you can't change it. So it you know, and you can't delete the software. So it's foolproof. So I have a smaller channel up here. Yeah, to be honest with you, mate, I'm kind of happy not even trading now for the rest of the day. If I'm on a winner, I'm $80 under 2,000 though. I mean, I'm more than happy with that. If I can get one a day, I'm, what's that, two trades up for the week? 2 trades and $50. So I'm about $430 up for the week. So if I can get $500 per week, that's over $2,000 a month. So one and done. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It would have to be an absolute blinder. It would have to be another one of those to get me into another trade. So I'm just happy watching the market and learning and chatting and, you know, one and done, yeah. So yeah, good bit of software. Now I don't get any for it. There's no affiliates or something, but you know, I chat with you guys every single day. You're my work colleagues. There's no competition here. It doesn't matter whether I do really well and you don't, or whether you make a fortune and I don't. It doesn't affect me or my business. So there's no competition. So if I find something that's helping me, I'm more than happy to talk about it and help somebody else, because I know how tough it is at times. I wish I'd have bought it earlier, really. But it was John and Dean who got me, interested in it. I first heard about it from Nutty, but he said there was a couple of issues with it. That was 8 months ago, and it's been updated since, and it tends to work like a dream. And they do update it and put extras in there. But it's only going to get better. Possible triple test there, but it's clearly congested, so nothing you can do there, really. Which chart out of your three you find most useful? Well, that one, which is the top left, has been the most productive, followed by the main one, and this a little bit. But it does make a difference. There has been setups I've taken there with a good signal bar, and it's been a poor one there, and it's worked a treat. But what got me thinking about it was seeing people like Taylor doing 2 or 3 trades a day with such a better signal bar than I had. And that's kind of what got me looking at it. But it definitely makes a difference. And the beauty is I only need to pay attention to what the overall picture's doing on one chart, and I can just zoom in here just for the setup. And I just found when I was trading the CL, different charts, and I was focusing on here, and I wasn't focusing on the bigger picture there, and I made a couple of slip-ups. So this to me is a much better option. So yeah, it's made my life much better. I've definitely taken more setups. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. As I've said before, you guys can message me. Don't just think about waiting to chat to me. You can message me anytime. Anytime, night or day, I'm happy to chat. This is working up here. May go higher, but I'm struggling a bit at the moment. Some plays from that. Yeah, it's not often we get something as clear as that. Sometimes I find when I'm taking trades, I'm sort of trusting that my experience is telling me this is probably going to work. You've helped foster this great community. It helps us all at the end of the day. It helps us all. And it is about helping each other. I can't tell you how much help I've had from people. And it's about a community of people, and more experienced people help the less experienced, and so on. I had a conversation with Marco about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. There was something that I was struggling with, and he's helped me a lot. So it's about reaching out to your more experienced traders, and encouraging and helping your less experienced traders, because it's a tough business. And as you guys know, I spent a lot of time blowing accounts, and it is a horrible feeling jumping in and out. You've got a PA account and it's on the cusp of losing, and you're uncontrollably buying and selling every second or two. You've got no control over it. Your heart's racing like crazy. You feel physically sick. It's horrible. It really is a horrible feeling. I haven't had that feeling now for a long time. When I blew those PAs the other day, it was quite quick. But that feeling, and sometimes at the end, if I blew the account or I managed to keep the account, I'd go downstairs and for half an hour, my heart would be racing. It's a horrible feeling. Now, luckily, it's more or less gone away. I shouldn't have traded the other day in a really bad mood because I was in the mood for an argument, and it didn't help. But it's always my psychology. Yeah. I stand by what I say. Yeah, the psychology will automatically get better. if you're doing it every day, it doesn't matter how exciting. It's like anything. Look, we all dream of having a lot of money, but I tell you something now, if someone gave you $1 million and you'd bought all the cars and the boats, I guarantee you the first time you get in your Lamborghini and drive it, you're going to feel on top of the world. But by the time you get to the end of 6 months and you've been driving it every day, it's not going to seem so exciting. You know, most of us dream about being wealthy, but a lot of these wealthy people are bloody miserable. You know, because once you bought everything, what's left? You know, you might not have money worries, but, you know, they say money doesn't make you happy, and there is a lot of truth to that. So, you know, these emotions that we feel, this kind of excitement, nerves, they'll start to dissipate with time, and it'll start to become like a normal job. Driving gross in a Lambo, absolutely. But you can imagine making a ton of money. The first time you get in that car thinking, I've earned and paid for this, you're going to feel on top of the world. But within a few months, it's just going to be a car, isn't it? At the end of the day. So no matter what you do in life, you get used to it. It becomes nothing out of the ordinary. You know, same with jumping out of the plane. If you do it every day for 3 years, it's going to be nothing really out of the ordinary. It's not going to stress you. It's not going to frighten the hell out of you. The emotions aren't going to be there, but the first time you do it, I guarantee it. So every day we come here and do this job, and every day we take these losses and we learn, and our skills improve, and our timing improves, and our motions start to slow, and we get time to breathe and make better decisions. And it's like Max says, it's like becoming a doctor or a lawyer or something. It does take time to grow those skills. Yeah, I do as well, actually. I know what a good setup is. I think the losses that I occur are when I'm misreading the market because it's choppy. Now, I was looking at that trade there. Channel 2 legs down and a higher low. And I was very tempted to take that. Was it there? I may not have got me 2 points, but sometimes I'm thinking I'm pretty sure it's doing this. It does look like it, and you kind of make a decision, don't you? And those losses are just an experience. You know, although I've been trading sort of 3.5 years plus, it's still, you know, if I was a doctor, I'd be considered a junior doctor. In fact, I may not be in hospital by now, but, you know, you'd be considered a junior doctor. You'd be making mistakes. You'd need to go and confer with more experienced people. So it's still early. But, you know, the amount of money you can earn if you stick at it, like all these professional jobs, you know, doctors, they don't get paid what they deserve. But, you know, you can earn good money. But you are doing all of that. There's not many jobs that you can earn the money you can in trading and work very little hours. I think my normal day is somewhere between 2 and 3 hours. I'll be done soonish, mate. I'm probably going to I might do 2 hours today. I'm quite happy not taking another trade, but I am going to watch FOMC purely out of the interest for crypto, because if we do get a hint of, we know rate cuts are coming, but I think, you know, once the market gets more of a hint that they're likely to happen in September, I think they will. Then hopefully crypto is going to start to move a bit, and I've got a bit of money in there at the moment. That's like my little bit of excitement, I guess. Yeah, you take it easy, pal. But yeah, a lot of trades. Some of the trades I take, maybe there's obviously a lack of patience there. I'm way more patient than I used to be. I could sit here for 3 hours and not take a trade, and I don't bat an eyelid. But sometimes you kind of want to trade, don't you? And if you're not reading, I mean, this is clear. There's no ifs or buts there. Market is clearly working up. How many times has it touched that line? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9, 10, 11, perfectly. And it's working lovely on the top. So there's no argument there. We get a break of it, 2 clear legs back, push above the EMA, and often we come back a higher low. It's going to work all day long, that is, and that is a clear, obvious trade. But sometimes if you have a go at some of these, it's a bit choppy. Are we coming down? Are we going up? And it's very easy, just patience to get the better of you, and you get caught out. And that's just down, from my behalf, a little bit of immaturity when it comes to trading, little bit of lack of patience, and just lack of experience. You're still going to make mistakes from time to time, but I bet Mac doesn't make nowhere near as many as he used to. I bet he makes very few, actually. But every day you're improving and you're learning and you're experiencing and you're growing. Late to the stream today. How's everyone doing? How you doing, Chris? Mate, I don't know when you say late to the stream. Did you take that? That was an absolute beauty. I think everybody took that on Thomas Wade's, apart from Taylor. Unfortunately, he missed it. He jumped in, and it never came back enough, or it came back before he jumped in. But that one was an absolute perler, that was. You missed it. That was a shame. And I'll go as far as say we don't often get setups that look that good. That was a 9.8, I reckon, out of 10, that. If that was slightly sat on top of there, finished on its high, that'd be as perfect as it can get, that. But you've got to take them. They'll work all day long, they will. I mean, you can see, can't you? I always find if you get a good, strong setup, it moves. And if enough people are taking that, and people are going to jump all over that, aren't they? And then look, it's shot up. What was it, 6 or 8 points? Yeah, it does. Yeah, I agree. I don't want to say they're as rare as hen's teeth, but they probably are that clear. They are, yeah. I mean, we get this, and there's a second entry short there. After that leg, I expected a leg down. Now, sometimes, depending on what your patience is like, you may take that, but it worked beautifully. But it is congested. But if you know what's going on, especially after you had the break, a push up and a couple of retests, and then a strong move down. But it's one of those ones, sometimes you'll take it, sometimes you won't. But that one, it wasn't congested. It was very clear. 2 clear legs after a break. Nice bullish bar, sliced straight through that EMA. A little bit of a pullback, and that was going up all day long. That was. But yeah, we don't often get trades like that, really. Yeah, I mean, can't remember the last time I saw a trade that clear. We used to get a lot more like that, but lately we don't. We do get setups, but what I've found, I've really had to grow my experience, my trade experience, and take more obscure trades. Like I used to avoid picking tops and bottoms. I'm still not a fan of them. But triple tests I take a bit more now. Breakout pullbacks I used to avoid, but I've started noticing them working a bit more clear. But you have to kind of grow your skill set, don't you? There's no point looking for higher lows, which I suppose higher lows have always been I think the trade I take most of all. I tend to wait for the higher low because it's kind of like a safer bet, isn't it? But I'm pretty sure Mac will mark that with a blue arrow. I've got no argument with that. Clearly 2 legs down. He does mark those a lot, actually. There was something yesterday that I kind of knew he'd mark. That one there. Second entry, and it clearly worked. There was another one as well. Was it that was a bit... That one there. Now, I like that one, but I didn't take it. Now, I said it's a second entry short. Someone said, no, it's not. But it kind of is. On a bigger chart, if you listened to Matt last night, on a bigger chart, that would be a second entry. It'd be 1 bar, But yeah, by the count, it's not. It's only a first entry. Obviously, this is a new low after this, but you can clearly see there's 2 legs up and a bearish bar. And it did work, but I am paying more attention to those, and I will start trading them. Same there, second entry short there. There was there as well, 2 clear legs up, trapping the longs. there's quite a lot of those kind of fail break out the range. I did take one of them, I can't remember. So we got a little range there. Second entry short, failed breakout. There's going to be longs taking that. Clearly bearish though, and that came down beautifully. Mac seems to mark a lot of trays that are only... Yeah, he does, yeah. Whether he's... Because I think Mac probably teaches us about 10% of what he really knows. And I think he has to do that because he'd just blow your mind otherwise. But with experience, you know, like those trades, if that wasn't a second entry by the count, you know, the purists or inexperienced wouldn't take it. Now it is, it happens. But if that bar there was a bit higher, you can still take it because it's clearly 2 attempts. That's what a second entry is, 2 attempts to do something which fails. But, you know, when you're sort of new, you take him by the book, don't you? Or you don't take him by the book at all. But same there. There was a second entry long there, which I didn't really notice. It wasn't brilliant on that chart, but it was better on here. Where was it? That one there. You can clearly see it's a leg down and another leg down, and then off it went. But I didn't notice at the time. I was thinking this is, at the time I had this as kind of like a range, and I was looking at this coming back, and I did say I wouldn't take that one because that's the type of one that gets stopped out. But I didn't think actually about the trade in the other direction. Going to news, trade some evals later. Today. Yeah, I kind of like doing that. I do. If you want to get them done quick, that's the way to trade them, I think. It can backfire, but sometimes I'd either rather make the thing or not. It is, sometimes I like to save me efforts. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're an experienced trader, you don't want to be doing that because there's no point in getting lucky to get a PA, paying $140 and losing it. You only really want to be doing that when you can start to hold PAs. But I absolutely get the fascination with getting it done quick so you can start earning, especially when you've got a 1 day to pass. I just wonder how long it'll be before Apex stop that or put that as a no-no. But having said that, it probably sort of sucks in a lot of inexperienced traders to do it as well. And it's okay when they're getting lucky on a $30 evaluation, but then they pay $140 fee and then blow the account. So I think Apex will probably make more money from that, from inexperienced traders trading the news. Yeah, I Chris, I think it's that you say about 100% trades. I think with experience, it's one of those things. Once you start noticing them, and I think that's how. I mean, these strategies, you know, didn't come to us on tablets from 2000 years BC, did they? They came from people watching the markets and noticing things. So I think the more we notice those type of trades, I think the more we'll just say, hold on a minute, the last 15 times I've seen that, it does this. And I think automatically you'll start to. And I think that's probably a lot of why Mac doesn't show us his trades, because I think there'll be a lot of trades that don't follow the rules. But he can take because he's had 20 odd years of experience of watching the markets move. Did you see Marco saying he had a warning from Apex? No, I didn't. Where did he say that? And what was the warning? A warning? No. What was it about, bud? You got me curious now. Come on, don't leave me hanging. On his Facebook, I think it was a risk warning. On his Facebook. Yeah, on the main Facebook page, yeah? The main Max Facebook page. Risk warning. Risk. How do you mean risk warning? Risk. That's interesting. Too much risk for a reward. Really? I'm surprised. Yeah, that's strange. I mean, don't they say somewhere you can risk up to 4 times? So if I'm going for a 2-point scalp, I could risk up to 8 points. So I don't know how the hell Marco got that. But the trouble is, you never quite know how people trade. You know, I've never seen Marco trade live. So, I mean, Marco really is lovely. He's a lovely guy. He might go on tilt. Everyone does at some point. He may be blowing account after account. Account after account. You never really know. But that would indicate he's going for a lot wider stop, which is unusual because I know Marco goes for 6 ticks, doesn't he? If anyone could recommend another prop firm, strange. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. I never read it all properly, I don't think. Interesting. Because really, you think from a price action trader, our style, you're never going to be breaking any rules. You know, you're risking on average, what, let's say 3.5 points, maybe at the most, and you're going for 2. So we rarely risk 2 to make 1. From what I understand, you can risk 4 to make 1. So that's interesting. I am going to try another prop firm at some point because I think it's good just to at least experience these other prop firms just in case anything ever happens. I mean, if Apex happens to go bump at some point, you know, it'd be nice to go through the process so you know how everything works. I know Watts it's getting a few accounts, isn't he, Wilson? He's getting a few other prop firm accounts. I think it's wise to at least experience the process. See, when I first traded with, I think it was Earn to Trade or Trade for You, something like that. I had to wait about 2 days just to get an evaluation ready. You're lucky if you're waiting in more than 2 minutes with Apex. I mean, I could buy an evaluation now and be trading in about 3 minutes. Yeah, I remember the conversation. Perhaps I just misread it or didn't read it, but I remember he was talking about what prop firms are people using that pay. I'll have to go back and have a read. Interestingly, Wilson doesn't seem to get losing days. No, he doesn't, does he? Gotta say, I was saying this the other day. He takes some unusual trades that aren't necessarily a Mac trade, but he does seem to do well at them. So perhaps he's found his own sort of niche. You certainly can, absolutely. You know, there's probably a lot of people that started off trading like Mac and trading completely different from him now. So perhaps he's found his own style. See, I think he goes for riskier trades, but he seems to. If you have continued success on them, why fix something? Yeah, he has. Yeah, he has. Top Step lets you about do just anything, does it really? Yeah, I think Top Step is probably the one that comes to mind most of all. In fact, I had an email from them a few weeks ago. I signed up to Top Step, but I didn't open an account, and then I got a message saying come on over. So I may try one soon, just to experience the process. Because as you say, you never know what's going to happen in the future. I'm that used to Apex. I know exactly how everything works with Apex, and moving to a different company, and it'd be nice to experience it rather than wait for something to happen. Yeah, he does seem to be doing okay, Wilson, doesn't he? But he doesn't necessarily take max trades all the time. He takes a lot of risky trades, but they seem to work. I thought initially he's gonna trip up, and there's a lot of luck. But he's been doing it long enough now to think that no, I think it's what he's doing is working for him. His own style is working. So good for him. He's had enough torture, put it that way. I think he's lost 20 accounts, maybe 2 or 3 times. So he's certainly done his time, put it that way. So he deserves it. He's another stayer. He's another one that'll just continue to do it. I know he's got a few health problems, so I hope they're not too serious. But I know he's had a couple of little bits of time off due to health issues. So I did wish him all the best. I don't think it's anything too serious, but you just never know, do you? You never quite know. You think everyone is happy, healthy, don't you? But sometimes you don't know what's going on in people's lives. Yeah, he does seem to widen his stops, but I think he sort of counteracts those. He trades very similar to the way I used to take profit. I didn't used to take a fixed amount. I'd bring my profit down here and just ride my stop down and try and capture more. So I think what I hope is there are a couple of times where he's risked quite a bit on his stop. And the trouble is when you do move your stop, he's kind of gotten away with it. If you do get stung, sometimes that can affect you mentally. But hopefully he's gone through enough punishment, which you all have to, enough to be able to deal with those rocky days. But I think he's at a level now that he'll be okay. He'll be okay. And he does seem to have found his own style. So like they say, if it isn't broken, don't try and fix it. So, but what I will say is I remember my first experience of him, I thought this guy's going to make an absolute fortune. He was trading, I think it was not long after I started. It was probably 2.5, 3 years ago. He was posting his charts on every day. And I think someone said he's trading live, and I think he was trading about 35 contracts. And someone said, no, he made $1 million last year and all this sort of stuff. And I was watching him, and he absolutely killed it. And I thought, I want to be like this guy. And then all of a sudden, he started taking evaluations. And then he struggled, because it just goes to show, even though you can make money on paper, when it comes to real money and those emotions kick in, you're a different animal. Marco got pranked. Marco got pranked. I don't know. I know he put something on there because I selected by Apex. Sorry. He got pranked by Apex. What, they prank you now? I don't know. No, he put something on Facebook, and I think it was something on the lines of, what other prop firms do you guys use that have paid you, or that you're confident you're going to get paid? Well, obviously, the only one I've ever got paid from is Apex. So I've got no issues with Apex. I know they've been crucified a bit lately, but it was with the change of, well, not the change of rules, more the implementing of the rules. I think it struck a lot of people. I think, it would have probably been a little bit lighter on them if they said from the beginning of the month we're going to, but and then I think people like what's the girl's name? I forget her name now. She crucified them, called them scammers. They're not scammers. Apex aren't scammers. They just started implementing the rule. That's all. But if you're following the rules, you've got nothing to worry about as far as I'm concerned. I've got 100% confidence in Apex. I wouldn't use them otherwise. But they did get a bit of a hard time, Kelly, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. If I was waiting for $10,000 and they refused me, I'd be a bit pissed off. I would. So I understand people being a bit frustrated, but the rules are there, and if you've been breaking them and getting away with it, then you've been a bit lucky anyway. So I understand them. I think it would have been better if they said, okay, from the beginning of the month, the rules are the rules now, and we will be checking them. That would have gone down better. But yeah, Kelly, I think it's a bit unnecessary. She crucified them. It's a shame I can't like watching her videos. But she's given such a hard time calling them scammers. I'm surprised actually, because Apex have got the money to sue somebody. So if she can't prove that they're scammers and she's splattering all over it, it could come back to bite her. But I don't know. But I think it's a bit harsh to say they're scammers. They're not scammers. Scammers purposely set out to rip people off. They don't. They just started implement the rules. Now, I understand that they are getting ripped off themselves. They're bound to. Whenever there's ways of making money, there are always people going to try and bend the rules and break the rules for their own benefit. It's a fact of life. And I think they just started to realise we're losing a lot of money here from people breaking the rules, and they just started to implement them. The rules are there. There's nothing stopping them doing it. They just chose to, I've got to say, my first couple of payments were pretty sketchy. But I was lucky. They paid me. So I was lucky. But they're not scammers. They're not scammers. They just got an unfortunate backlash because they just tended to sort of do it on the spot, really, without any kind of notice. And, I think it's only hyper scalpers getting denied. Yeah. Yeah, I've never DCA'd. I've never put money into a losing trade. Having said that, I will have done when I was revenge trading, absolutely. You don't think of what you're doing when you're revenge trading. But it's not something I do. I mean, max strategy is about as straightforward as you can get, really. You're risking around about 3 points for 2 points thereabouts. So it's about as mid of the range as you can get. But there are some a little bit more unusual ways of making money from the market. And I get, the way Alpine was trading without a stop. So I'm aware that Apex copy your trades. Now, if he trades without a stop, he's not risking $2,500. He's risking $140. But Apex would be risking a lot more. So I absolutely agree that they say you can't trade without a stop. 100%. But he's getting crucified a bit, isn't he? I watched a bit of his stream yesterday. He lost 5 trades in a row, which I'm surprised because we had such a bearish day and he kept going long and he kept getting stung. I think he was down 14, 13 grand, something like that. I've seen him do that quite a few times. He seems to kind of do the opposite from what the market's doing. But I've got to say, when he was trading without a stop, the open market range breakout, he was so bloody good at it. And it's a bit of a shame, really. They stopped him. I understand from Apex point of view, they can't copy a trade when you're not using the stop, but you wouldn't think you could be that successful at it, but every day he was green. But fair dues to him, he's bounced back and he's come on and he's moved on from it. So because he was never kind of good at mainstream setups. I think most of his money came from the open range breakout, and then for the rest of the day he takes sort of some mediocre setups and lose a couple. But he was so good at that open range breakout trade. He got that down to a T. So it was a bit shame. But if I was him, I'd have probably looked elsewhere where they don't. They allow you to do it a bit more. Bullanox have a 5-day trading rule, which I missed as they didn't close my PAs. Yeah, I think there's 3 that have kind of got my eye at the moment. Top Step, Bullanox or whatever it's called, and is it My Fund of Futures? That's another one. There is one which you don't have to do an evaluation. I think you pay something like $165, $175 and you're straight on a PA. I forget who it was now. I saw a video. It may have even been that Kellyanne. I'm pretty sure she was talking about so you don't have to do an evaluation. You can fast track trading. That might have been it. Yeah. So for people like Alpine, I think they're ideal really, because I mean, if you can trade PAs and you can hold PAs, evaluations are just a pain in the arse, aren't they? They're just a bit of an awkward way of getting you, of getting to trade. There's an overshoot there, leg down. See, we've actually made a new high up here. What time is it? We've got FOMC coming up soon, so this market is slowly slowing down a bit now. Where are we come up from the lows? We're up, wow, a lot more than I thought. We're up nearly 120 points. 119 points. That is quite some move. We're up into, we've not been up here for a week or so, week and a half maybe. I can't remember where all-time highs are. It's definitely working though, isn't it? I didn't have my channel here, but if I had done, I'd have been very tempted with that higher low, especially after the overshoot, touching of that, and then a higher low. I think I'm going to finish in a minute, folks. I'm quite happy on one really, and we have got FOMC coming up in around about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And sometimes the market can just go really slow and stagnant, can't it? So nice day for me today. In fact, it's not been a bad week. I think I'm up for around about 450 per account, so 4,500 over the week. And if I can get to 5,000 a week, it's not a target. I tend to not set monetary targets. You can only really take, but if I was to say what would be the ideal amount of money to get a week, I would say 500 or above. And that'll be 2,000. And even if you have a naff week and you only earn half of that, it's still $1,000 a month. How long do you spend each day going over other people's charts and reviews? Maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that. What I do at the end of the day is I look at my charts, I go through it with a fine-tooth comb, see what I missed, how was I reading at the time, and then I save my chart up, and then I'll go and have my dinner, and then usually in the evening I will, it's late evening in the UK, I'll always look at Max. I'll always look at Thomas Wade's. If he doesn't post any on YouTube, you can still watch him if you're in there. So I always look at both of those. I like to see how other streamers are doing as well, to see how them. I like to see how Wilson's getting on. Sometimes I'll have a little natter with Nutty. And then I'll look through some of the charts at the Facebook group. I always like to look at Marco's. And that's it really. So maybe 35 minutes. But I always like to look at Max, work out what I did differently. How was my chart differently? You can get that all done in 40 minutes. Yeah. Well, Max, I tend to fast track through Max really. Let's say 20 minutes for Mac, 10 minutes for Thomas Wade. So let's say 20, let's say 30 minutes. And I literally just flick at his trades, flick at Wilson's trades, and I have a look on the Facebook group after. So yeah, 40 minutes max, I think. Sometimes when I'm in bed, if Wilson puts his on a bit late, I might have to look at his then. But yeah, 45 minutes, I suppose, on average. But I spent about 10 minutes at my chart after, just checking it all. What did I miss? What did I take? Was it a good setup? And then I save all my trades to TraderSync, and that keeps track of all my trades. I did start writing down a few things, doing a bit of journaling, but I stopped. So I may start to do that again. But yeah, I used to spend a lot more time. I probably used to do my trade, and then I'd probably spend a couple of hours in the evening. I come back to my chart, go through it again. Sometimes at the weekends, I used to go back to old charts and look through those. So I used to do a lot of hours. I suppose I used to average 6-7 hours a day. But I've found now sometimes less is more. I've calmed down a little bit. I try to separate because I found trading completely takes over your life. It's like having a new baby almost. It's your whole focus. If you've ever had kids, your whole life sort of changes, doesn't it, in a massive way when you have kids. And I found trading was like that. It was just I was waking up thinking about it, going to sleep, and it kind of takes over. And I think I made a conscious decision maybe a month or two ago to start now having set times of doing things and walking away. Because, if you're working for somebody else in the day, you don't come home and have your dinner and decide to go back to work, do you? You kind of try and forget about it. So I like to sort of have that proper break from it and to have sort of work and home time. Because I got a wife and a daughter, and a 15-year-old daughter. So, you got to try and separate your life. It's good for you as well. It's good for you to get out. I like to sort of settle down with my feet up in a whiskey. We usually take the dogs out most nights after dinner in the evenings, take them out for a couple of miles. That keeps them happy. And I'm going through, I like to sit, because my wife obviously gets up a bit earlier than me, so my wife goes to bed about 10:30ish. She'll get up and read a book in bed, and then I'm watching House again, I tend to like watching that. Probably every 6 months I'll go through them again. So, did somebody take that high or low? Yeah, Taylor took that trade there. Now, I didn't consider it taking it because of the channel with the overshoot. We could have a leg down, a break, and we could come down here. So that, for me, was a bit risky. But he knows what he's doing. He's got his chart like that. Now, I don't know whether I would personally. For me, I think initially it's kind of started off like that. And it is clearly working in there. And then obviously we have that, a little bit of a break and an overshoot. So we could... In fact, I was thinking this may come down here. But I think he's made his points there. Yeah, you'd have got 2 points out of that. But the trouble is, after this and the break, you don't know whether we're going to have another leg down. You can guarantee there's going to be some liquidity there. So I expect that to get down between there and there. It may not. It's such a strong day today, but there's a leg down and some sideways, so I think it's more likely we get down here somewhere. Seems to be going for more points, Taylor, as well. He tends to like 12 ticks. And that extra point, if you get that every 3 trades, you could effectively afford to lose one. If you get an extra point every 3 trades, you could afford to lose one and still be no worse off. Let's see if there is something larger here. The thing is, I don't like that. I don't know how you can't say that isn't an overshot. Okay. Do you know what, folks? I'm going to finish there, actually. I usually do about 3 hours, so I've been going about 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm quite happy with one. It's still a bit choppy now. The last thing I want to do is ruin a great trade like that by getting stuck in it. We have got FOMC in about 2 hours, just over 2 hours, so it may just... It's definitely slowing down, that's for certain. So, look, I'm going to leave you there. Not a terrible day today. There was a couple of setups. That one I took. That one I missed, to be fair. But it looked better on the chart. It was a doji there, but I'll be surprised if Mac doesn't mark that and it completely works there. So we'll mark that, I think, no doubt about it. After that overshoot, I think some took that one. Marker took that one. That's an unusual trade for him because it's so congested, but it did work. So market does seem a little bit more favourable lately. It is giving us more options. It went for a couple of weeks where I think I took about one trade. I think I had 2 winners and a loss over about 3 weeks. It was weird. But it does seem to be improving now. I'm really surprised it gave us that. I mean, that's like the golden egg, that thing. It's that nice. I thought we'd said farewell to them type of setups. It's about as textbook as you can get, that is. You'd take them all day long and make a fortune. So there you go. So I'm going to leave it to you. Best of luck if you're carrying on trading. I'm going to sit and watch FOMC from the comfort of my armchair. And hopefully we get a positive response. Crypto might start to push. I've got a little bit of money in there. So I'll leave you there, folks. So Thursday, tomorrow, 2 more days left. And then we're at weekend again. Unbelievable, isn't it? I can't believe how quick these months are going. 2.5 months' time, the Christmas decorations start to go up in the town I live in. I noticed some of the shops are even getting Christmas decorations on the shelves. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.